When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I just remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Anyways, we have this idiot dog over here barking, but I'm going to try to give you my message in spite of the dog, if you can try to listen to me. Now, this is a very important topic. Of course, I'm Thomas the Hermit, and this is in Waco, Texas. Topic is about not getting too focused on what's wrong with you. Now, number one, if you think you're the only one who's got something wrong with you, then you need to dismiss that thought from your mind. and in the words of a famous TV psychologist, how's that working out for you? Now, everyone is in the same boat when it comes to human brokenness. We all have it. Some have it to greater degrees than others, but we all have it more than we think we do. That's an important issue right there. And the measurement of how good or bad or how healthy or unhealthy we are is not your neighbor. The real person that you need to be concerned about is Jesus Christ. He is the only measuring stick that we have as to who we need to be. Now, what I'm going to talk about is what has been titled by some as the Catholic Neurosis. Now, how does that work? Well, it happened to Martin Luther. Remember Martin Luther, the great reformer? Okay, now Martin Luther kept beating himself up over his sins. Now, by the way, beating yourself up over your sins is a very bad idea. Martin Luther thought that he was going to move into a particular area of spiritual understanding with God by beating himself up for his sins. We call that scruples. That's the old school term. And a new school term would be a neurosis. Now, what happens is because of our perception of Christianity, we believe that if we are not perfect, that we're going to be condemned to eternity in hell. And the church, except for divine mercy, hasn't really helped a lot of people with that issue. They've told them to be patient, they'll get over the scruples, God will take care of them. Now, of course, that advice is good. That's old school advice. Martin Luther did not understand it. There's a certain amount of temptation involved in that too. The demonic can actually cause a severe mental illness inside of a human being. I recall a story, and I think it was written by Scott Peck. I'll give him as the author of the story, that there was a person, a woman, who became like this. She became so overawed or weighted by her sins that she would say this kind of gibberish word, and the gibberish word was supposed to cover like 100 rosaries or something like that. So she was constantly doing this, and they had to send her to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist evaluated the woman and to try to correct her understanding of what this means. If you are bent on thinking you're going to hell because you don't have everything perfect, you need to knock that off, okay? That is not working for you. And what works is acknowledging that God is merciful, and I have reached out in every way that I can today to do what I can, the best I can, without lying to myself. If you're lying to yourself, you are defeating the purpose here. A person has to be naked and exposed to God, and then His mercy is enacted. You don't go and seek God's mercy by hiding what you're doing wrong or what's broken or what needs to be healed. You go to God's mercy naked. You're going to reveal everything about yourself to him. And never hide it. He knows it anyways. It's kind of really silly to hide from God what he already knows that you have. But he needs to know that you are being forward with him, honest, repentant, and sincere, and that you're trying. That's how you get to heaven. You don't get to heaven by lying to yourself. You don't get to heaven by making excuses, and you don't get to heaven by presupposing that your sins really don't matter. Well, they do matter. You know, they matter. But God's mercy matters more. And that's how I'm going to get to heaven. I'm not going to get to heaven because I'm perfect. I'm going to get to heaven through God's mercy. So, when you are reflecting upon your sinfulness, your brokenness, even your psychological illnesses, whatever's going on with you, because we all got them, you know, don't let that drag you into a cycle of sin. Be merciful to yourself. Ask for God's mercy. Say the Divine Mercy Chaplet. I say it all the time. Talk to the Lord about it. It's okay. Thinking too much, there's a threshold. I'm only going to think about the things that are wrong with me in as much as I can handle it. Now, the more I do it, the stronger I get. So when you reflect upon the things that you've done wrong and it's starting to depress you, you need to go do something else. Kind of like that famous song, My Favorite Things. Think about something else that's your favorite thing. Get out in the woods. Talk to a loving God. Read something beautiful in the scriptures about how God touched and loved someone. Hang out with some friends. We all need to do that. Even a hermit has to get out with people, I think, sometimes. Anyways, this is Thomas the Hermit. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Say a prayer for me. I am praying for you. I'll talk to you later.